So Christmas Eve, tomorrow's Christmas, and yeah, don't feel a thing like Thanksgiving, and we didn't really feel anything. When I was younger, this is where I slept last night. But yeah, when I was younger, I used to get really depressed on the holidays. When I got into my 20s and was living on my own. And it was like I didn't really like people would invite me over, but it wasn't family. It was like friends, and I never wanted to go over to their places. But then I didn't like being alone either. I felt very alone, but I didn't want to go to people's houses because then that also could have made me feel alone. Especially, I remember a teacher who was still very important to me after high school invited me over for a Christmas or a Thanksgiving or something. And she's white, and she did tell me like some people in her family was racist. So it just like as nice as it was, I was like, nah, I'm alright. But then I had other friends too. But yeah, I just never wanted to go over to other people's houses on holidays. So then I don't know. And then I'm just like extroverted. I'm like introverted. Introverted. I don't really like being around a lot of people anyway. But as I've gotten older, the holidays have hurt less and less. And now it doesn't hurt. And then also thinking about the big picture of it all, it's like it's all manufactured and kind of made up to make people feel, I think, that type of way. To make them feel like they need to be around others. And if you aren't around others and you don't have that, then you should feel sad about it. Another thing, I'm like back on Facebook, and I was on Facebook, but I lost my old account, so I had made a new account in the beginning of probably when I was in New Orleans. I made that account. So it's like 2-3 years old, or maybe a year, I don't know. And I was friending back some of my friends that I had on my old account. So since I was friending back friends, it was sending me like friend requests of people I might know. And it sent me a site to my high school. So I went onto the site. So like everybody from my high school are able to join this site. I guess even if you didn't go to the high school, but the idea is for people who went to the high school to join the site. And I was like looking to see if I saw anybody I remembered, but I don't think it was like for a set year. I think it was just in general. If you went to the high school, you could join the site. But I saw 2 people from my high school on there that I remembered. One person I didn't know the name, but they were like a class clown. And he's doing really good. It looks like he's doing really good. Like he's dressed really nice and stuff. And when he was in school, he was like the class clown. And so, I don't know. I would think he's happy, but he looked really good. Like he was dressed really nice. And then the other guy, his name was Winford. He was really popular. And he looked really good too. He looked like he's doing good. Looked like he's doing something for like film or something. And so did I see anybody else? Then well, the person who I friended was from my high school. So I know she's doing okay. Like she's had some troubles, but she looks really good. But it was like I was scrolling to see if I could see more people and see how they were living, and I was like, why? Stop. You don't want to do this. And so yeah, I couldn't help but like compare. But I'm on my journey. I'm on my journey. And I was like, yeah, even if I don't know, I wouldn't want to live like them, but I was like, should I was questioning, like, should I have like strive for more of those type of things? But I know really like that's not like what I want or for me. Then I like question like, what is it that I want, and why do I want what I want, or why do I not want certain things? And And why do I feel like I'm so woke to it all? But I don't know. That starts to make me think of like reincarnation, because it's like I have such strong feelings and opinions, and I've had them since I can remember. Like always, kind of. I don't know. I feel like children are more like, just more like nature, and they just do what they do. But then it comes a point where you go to school and everything, and it all, you give in to the idea of like how you should be. And for some people, that like they'll take that as when they get older that they were raised well, or they were raised well, or they were just somehow they're better because they were able to just fall in line properly. And I never saw it as that. I always like every step of the way when something was like you have to like conform, you have to conform, you have to conform. Even if I did it, I would question like, why do I have to do this? Like, why am I having to do this thing? And so when I looked at the people from high school, I was like, well, they melted in really nicely, and they got what they got from it. But it's like, that's not what I want. But part of me is like, can't help but think like I'm a failure for not like striving for those things. But yeah, just not what I want. Like if I did even try to get those things, I think I would be stressed out by it, because it's like maintaining that, and then also like maintaining something that I really don't even want. And so then it would come to the point where I'm like, well, why am I even working so hard for this when I don't even want it? Which that's what happened. Like I was working, like, not being I wasn't very successful at working, but I worked to support myself, and I was able to stay afloat. And it was like staying afloat in a situation that I didn't even want to be in. So it was like working really hard to be in the situation that I didn't even want to be in. But now I'm really enjoying life. I did get sick in Portland, Oregon, and I got COVID, and my back was hurting, and my whole body was hurting. So I came back to LA, and when I first got off the train, somebody was like, it was a fight. And I was like, oh, LA, I'm so like happy to be back. And then like over time, it's like, I don't know, the homeless situation does play a toll. Because there's some people who are like, I don't know, it's such a division. It's like you doing what you're supposed to do, which is what you're told to do, or you like living on the outskirts, on the fringe, or you like being in the city, but you like not being what you're supposed to be. And that judgment that comes with that, it's hard sometimes, because it's like, I was thinking like one day, like I want to wake up and just be friendly to everybody, but I knew interaction with someone would probably ruin my momentum. So you get up, you're so happy, and then you walk down the block, and then someone treats you a certain way. And I'm not saying they're wrong. Maybe they have a right to like judge me from a distance and be like, oh, here comes this, homeless person. He's gonna ask for money, or he smells, or something like that. But some like also don't feel like you should be more open to take a chance if someone's coming towards you. But then maybe that's also this experience that's humbled me, because maybe I was very closed off to people because I was afraid that I would be hurt by them. But now it's like, also as I've gotten, I don't know, maybe it's this experience, but as I gotten older, I've become more open to people, and I try to be more like open and just speak to people a little bit more. But it really doesn't come natural to me. Like, I'm not very charismatic. I don't really like small talk, but I do love people, and I think that I'm not able to just speak to people in a certain way. People, it rubs people the wrong way. They think like I don't like them, but I'm most likely infatuated with them. I do love them, but I don't like to talk that much. So, and then I like to just chill. I like to sit back and listen. But then and it's times I am judgy, so I do judge. But I also question like why I judge. Like, and I don't know. It can come out like you try to paint yourself as the good person, or you have the righteous reason for judging. But then I also like maybe I don't. One thing I was thinking, like, sometimes people, like other homeless people who aren't doing that well, who might be like caught up in addiction, will sit down, and usually it is to ask for something. And I was talking to my friend Mike about it because he's also homeless and he deals with the same judgment. It's like they sit down and they not only ask for one thing, they're asking for like everything. And it's like back to back to back to back to back to back. And some people say a closed mouth doesn't get fed, but then it becomes a little bit too like just a little too like greedy. And I think it draws a line. It's like if you really need something, like, yeah, go ahead and ask for it, and eventually, ask as many people as you have to get whatever it is you need. But then when it's just like when you just really trying to leech off of another person by like asking when it's not even something you like desperately need, it becomes a little bit like, it's not for me. Like, I don't know, to each his own. But I have heard people give that argument like, oh well, closed mouth doesn't get fed. But these people are like, you're really trying to abuse that. Like they, like, I don't know if they just target somebody and they're like, this person might give me something, and then they're like, you got this, you got that, you got that. And I mean, I guess they go, like, that's the thing, that's how they get by, is like go to person and ask for as many things as they can get off of that person. But so sometimes I have to make that judgment. Like, if someone sits by me and they're looking a certain type of way, and I'll give them a chance to prove me wrong. But first comes one thing, like, you got a cigarette, you got some weed, and then you got $1, you got some change, you got something to drink, you got something to eat, like, you got a blanket, you got a t-shirt. I'm like, oh Lord, like, and so then that's like, so then I might have my guard up for that, because it's like, no, because there's some people who are like, Taoist monk out there, and they don't ask for anything, they just get by, and I really admire those people. But and I would be more willing to give to them because they don't ask, but I could tell they could use something, but they're not going to ask for it. They're going to like go with nature and let nature provide, or universe provide. And that's always something you can't count on. But I give to them because I admire their journey. And I think when I don't eat out the trash, or I don't figure everything out from day to day. I kind of like plan ahead of time, so I'm not like living like that, like, so. But part of me thinks that I would, but like eating out of the trash, I feel like I would love to do it, but just something about it just seems like, okay, that's taking it like to a certain point. But it is mainly based on people's judgment why I don't do it, because I'm just like, oh, people gonna like look at me crazy if I dig in this trash can. I mean, there's times I've digged in a trash can and in front of people, but like That's the only thing that's holding me back. It's not like I think it's nasty or I think like that's the like it is a part of me that does think it because I have a like I can't gag easily, and if I did find something in the trash can, I might be. But I do admire it. I'm like, oh, that's so dope. They dig it in the trash can. That's how they ain't had to spend no money. They just woke up and that's it. But anyway, happy holidays. Bye.